I was 18 years old when I opened that acceptance letter from the University of Michigan. My hands were shaking, not from fear, but from pure excitement. 4 years of waking up at 5 in the morning to study before my shift at the diner. 4 years of saying no to parties and trips so I could save every dollar. It all felt worth it in that moment. I had done it. The college fund statement showed $23,000. My future was real. I never imagined that 3 weeks later that same envelope would be the last piece of proof I had that my future ever mattered to them. Before I dive into what happened next, I want to know where you are watching from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if this story hits close to home, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Trust me, you will want to see how this turns out. I grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, in a house that smelled like coffee every morning and carried the weight of careful budgets. My dad worked as a warehouse supervisor, my mom as an administrative assistant. We were not poor, but we were not comfortable either. Every dollar had a purpose. My older brother Blake was 4 years ahead of me, 22, when this all started. He had dropped out of college after his freshman year, claiming that traditional education was not for entrepreneurs. My parents never pushed back. They just nodded and said he was thinking outside the box. I went the opposite direction. When I turned 14, I got my first job washing dishes at a local diner called Morning Glory. The owner, Mrs. Chen, no wait, Mrs. Patterson, she was kind enough to work around my school schedule. I would come in after classes, scrub pots until my hands were raw, and take home $70 a week. Every paycheck, I put 70% straight into my college fund. The rest went to necessities. New shoes when mine wore out. A graphing calculator for pre-calculus. Nothing extra. Nothing wasted. By the time I was 16, I had added lawn mowing in the summer and snow shoveling in the winter. I tutored younger kids in math on Saturday mornings. I was not trying to be a hero. I just had a clear goal. Computer science at the University of Michigan. I wanted to become a software engineer. I wanted to pull my family out of the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. I wanted to prove that hard work could change everything. When that acceptance letter arrived in late March of my senior year, I ran home from the mailbox. My mom was in the kitchen making dinner. She dropped the spatula when she saw my face. My dad came out of the garage, grease still on his hands. Blake sent a text from wherever he was living at the time. "Congrats, little bro." That night we went to Olive Garden, which was reserved for special occasions. I ordered chicken Alfredo and felt like I was floating. I had already done the math. Tuition room and board books. It all added up to about $45,000 per year. My college fund had $23,000. My financial aid package covered $15,000. That left $7,000 for the first year. I had a plan. I would work part-time on campus. I would apply for scholarships. I would make it work. Everything felt possible. Then 3 weeks after that celebration dinner, my dad called me down to the living room. It was a Tuesday night in late April. I remember because I had just finished an AP chemistry assignment. Blake was sitting on the couch, which was unusual. He had moved out 2 years earlier and rarely came by for dinner anymore. My mom sat in the armchair, hands folded in her lap, refusing to look at me. My dad stood near the fireplace, scratching the back of his head. That was his nervous tell. Blake started talking. He had been doing freelance digital marketing for the past 2 years, he explained. A few small clients here and there. Building websites, running social media campaigns, nothing major. But now he said he had a real opportunity. One of his former clients, a guy who owned a mid-size construction company, wanted to partner with him. They were going to open a digital marketing agency together. Blake would handle the creative side, the client would bring in connections and credibility. All Blake needed was $30,000. Office space equipment, software licenses, one employee to start. He looked at my parents, then at me, and said this was going to change everything for our family. I felt proud of him. I actually smiled. It sounded like Blake had finally found his path after all those false starts. I said, "That is amazing, man. I hope you get the funding." Blake laughed, but it sounded wrong. Tight. He looked at my parents again. My dad cleared his throat. "Actually, Curtis, we need to talk to you about something." My mom finally looked at me. Her eyes were red. "We have been discussing this as a family," she said. "Blake's opportunity could set up our entire family for success, but he needs capital." My stomach started to tighten. My dad took a deep breath. "We are going to use your college fund to invest in Blake's business." The room tilted. I sat there frozen, trying to process what he had just said. "Wait, what? My college fund, the money I saved?" My dad's expression hardened. "Technically, since you are still 17, the account is under our names. We are the legal custodians. But I earned that money," I said. "Every single dollar. I worked for 4 years." My mom started crying. "Sweetie, we know this is hard. But think about the bigger picture." My dad added, "If Blake's business succeeds, he will pay you back double, maybe triple." Blake jumped in. "I will make this right, Curtis, I promise. This is an investment in all of us." My mom wiped her eyes. "You are young. You can take a gap year, reapply for more financial aid, maybe go to community college first." I tried to argue. "I have already been accepted. I have financial aid. I just need 7,000 more, not give away 23,000. Blake dropped out of college. He has had 3 different business ideas in 2 years. None of them worked. This is my future, my education. How is this fair?" My dad's voice turned stern. "Curtis, this is a family decision. It has already been made." My mom added, "We need you to be a team player, to support your brother." Blake was staring at his phone, not looking at me. Then my dad said the words that cut the deepest. "Be proud you are supporting the family. Not everyone gets to contribute something this meaningful." I stood up and walked to my room. I heard them talking quietly downstairs, their voices blending into a low hum. I lay on my bed, staring at the acceptance letter pinned to my bulletin board. Everything I had worked for was disappearing. The next morning, I tried talking to my mom alone. I begged her to reconsider. She told me the money had already been transferred. "It is done," she said. Without even asking me first, I asked. Her eyes filled with tears again. Sometimes parents have to make tough choices. I called Blake that afternoon. I was desperate. I thought maybe he would refuse the money if I explained how much it meant to me. He answered on the 3rd ring. "Look, I know this sucks," he said, "but I am going to make it up to you. Give me 1 year. You will see." "What if it does not work?" I asked. "It will. I have got a solid business plan. This is different from before." Then he said something that made my blood run cold. "Come on, Curtis. Do not be selfish. This helps the whole family." I told my best friend Aaron everything. He was shocked. "That is insane. Can they legally do that?" I spent hours researching. The answer was yes. Because the account was custodial, and I was not 18, yet my parents had full legal control. There was nothing I could do. I had to call the University of Michigan Financial Aid Office. The advisor was sympathetic, but could not offer much help. I deferred my enrollment for 1 year. hoping that I could save enough by then. But the advisor warned me that my financial aid package might change when I reapplied. High school graduation came in early June. I walked across the stage, shook hands with the principal, and felt nothing. My friends were buzzing about college plans, dorm assignments, roommate drama. When they asked about me, I said I was taking a gap year to work and save money. I did not tell them the truth. I was too ashamed. That summer, I worked full-time at the same warehouse where my dad was employed. It was brutal. Lifting boxes in the heat, loading trucks, unloading shipments, 45 hours a week. Every day I saw my dad across the floor. He avoided making eye contact. At home, he pretended everything was normal. It made me sick. In early July, Blake opened his office in downtown Grand Rapids. My parents insisted I come to the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Blake stood outside a small storefront with his business partner, a man named Mr. Hartman, who was in his 60s and had the confident smile of someone who had made money before. There were balloons, a photographer, a cake. My parents beamed. They took pictures and posted them on Facebook. I stood in the background, forcing a smile. Mr. Hartman shook my hand. "Your brother has got a bright future. You must be proud." "Yeah," I said. "Real proud." By late July, I had saved about $4,000 from the warehouse job. I sat in my room one night, staring at my bank account on my laptop. My family had chosen Blake over me. They were not going to fix this. If they were not going to invest in my future, I would do it myself. I started researching. I found free coding resources online: Codecademy, Free Code Camp, YouTube tutorials. I began learning Python and JavaScript every night after work. 3 to 4 hours, no matter how tired I was. My goal shifted. I did not need a college degree. I needed skills, real marketable skills that companies would pay for. Dinner times became silent and awkward. My parents tried to keep things normal, but I barely spoke. Blake texted me updates about the business occasionally. I responded with one-word answers. I stopped waiting for them to fix what they broke. I had to build something new on my own. By August, I was deep into coding tutorials. I finished my first online course in Python. By September, I had moved on to JavaScript and started learning React. I was exhausted all the time. Warehouse work drained my body. Coding at night drained my mind. But I kept going. I had nothing else. In October, I created my first freelance profile on Upwork. I bid on small projects. Fix a bug in someone's website. Build a simple landing page. I charged low rates because I had no reviews, no credibility. But I got my first client. A small bakery needed a website. I built it in 2 weeks and earned $300. It felt like a fortune. Blake's business, meanwhile, was struggling. In September, he lost his first major client. They were unhappy with the return on investment. In October, the employee he had hired quit because Blake could not pay him on time. I overheard my parents arguing in their bedroom one night. My dad's voice was strained. "We cannot keep giving him money." My mom's reply was muffled, but I caught the words, "retirement savings." Thanksgiving dinner was tense. Blake talked about the challenges he was facing, but insisted things were turning around. My parents nodded along, but I could see the worry in their eyes. I did not say anything. I ate quickly and went back to my room. Blake followed me outside as I was leaving. "I know things are tight right now, but it is going to turn around." I looked at him and said, "I hope so. For your sake." Christmas was worse. Blake gave me a coffee mug with the words, "World's Best Little Brother" printed on it. I said thanks without emotion. My parents gave me a $50 Visa gift card. which was cheap compared to previous years. I knew why. They had spent too much keeping Blake's business afloat. By the end of January, I had completed 5 freelance projects. My portfolio was growing. I was earning an extra $500 to $800 a month. More importantly, I was learning. I could build responsive websites. I could write clean code. I could solve problems. In early February, I applied for a junior developer position at a local tech startup called Innovatech Solutions. I did not have a degree, but I had a portfolio and I had hustle. The interview was nerve-wracking. The hiring manager, a woman in her 30s with sharp eyes, asked me to walk through my projects. I explained each one, showed her the code, described the challenges I had faced. At the end, she leaned back in her chair and said, "We value hustle and real skills over degrees. You have both." 2 weeks later, I got the offer. $55,000 a year. I stared at the email for 10 minutes, unable to believe it. I quit the warehouse job the next day. I started at Innovatech in early March. My life changed overnight. I had my own desk, my own computer, my own work. I was building software that real people used. I felt for the first time in a year like I was moving forward. Blake's business collapsed that same month. Mr. Hartman pulled out of the partnership, citing lack of results. Blake lost the office and had to move his operations to our parents' garage. By April, he had no clients left. He tried pivoting to different services, but nothing gained traction. In early May, my parents invited me over for dinner. It was rare. I had not been home in weeks. I agreed mostly out of curiosity. We sat around the table, the same table where they had told me about their decision a year earlier. My dad asked about my new job. "It is going well," I said. "I am learning a lot. Making decent money." Blake was quiet, pushing food around his plate. My mom tried to lighten the mood. "See, everything works out in the end." Something snapped inside me. "Does it?" I said. "Because last I checked, I am the only one whose plan actually worked." "Curtis," my dad said sternly, "that is enough." "No," I said. "It is not enough. You gave away my future for his opportunity." "Where's that opportunity now?" Blake stood up, his face flushed. "You think I wanted this to fail? I worked my ass off. With my money, I shot back. Money I earned." "It was an investment," Blake said. "Investments have risks. It was my investment to make, not yours. You did not even ask me." My mom started crying. "Please, both of you, stop." My dad tried to intervene. "We thought we were doing the right thing for the family." "No," I said, standing up. "You did what was easy for Blake. You always do. I am done. I am moving out." "Curtis, do not be dramatic," my dad said. "I am not being dramatic," I replied. "I am being realistic. I cannot live here anymore." I went upstairs, grabbed a duffel bag, and started packing. My parents knocked on my door, but I did not answer. I texted Aaron, "Can I crash at your place for a few days?" His response came immediately. "Of course, man. Come over." I stayed with Aaron for 2 weeks. By the end of May, I had found a studio apartment. It was small, barely enough room for a bed and a desk, but it was mine. I signed the lease and moved in. For the first time in my life, I was completely on my own. Over the next several months, my career accelerated. In June, I got a promotion to mid-level developer. My salary jumped to $68,000. In August, I landed a side project building an e-commerce platform for a local business. I earned an extra $12,000 from that alone. In October, a recruiter from a bigger tech company in Detroit reached out to me. They offered $85,000 a year, plus benefits and stock options. I accepted. The commute was an hour each way, but it was worth it. By December, I calculated my total income for the year. Between salary, freelance work, and bonuses, I had made approximately $105,000. I was 20 years old. I had done it without a college degree, without my family, without the money they had taken from me. Blake, meanwhile, had officially closed his business in September. He moved back into our parents' house. He was working odd jobs, delivery driver, bartender, whatever he could find. The entire investment, my $23,000 plus my parents' $3,000, was gone. He could not pay anyone back. I did not go home for 6 months. My parents called occasionally. I answered but kept the conversations short, polite but distant. Blake sent me a few apology texts. I did not reply. On New Year's Eve, I sat alone in my apartment reflecting on the past year. I had gone from devastation to success. I had proven something to myself, not to them, to me. I thought that would be the end of the story. But life had one more lesson to teach me. In late January, almost exactly a year after the blow-up at dinner, I got a text from Blake. "Can we meet for coffee? I need to talk to you. Not about money, just to talk." I hesitated for 2 days before replying. Finally, I agreed. We met at a coffee shop halfway between Detroit and Grand Rapids. Blake looked different, thinner, tired. There was a humility in his posture that I had never seen before. He ordered a black coffee and sat across from me. "I am not here to ask for anything," he said. "I just need you to hear me out," I nodded. "I was selfish," he began. "I convinced myself I was doing it for the family, but really I just wanted to prove I could succeed without college. I was jealous of you. You had direction. You knew what you wanted. I was lost. When Mom and Dad offered your fund, I should have said no. I knew it was wrong, but I took it anyway." His voice cracked. "I am sorry, Curtis. I am really sorry. I ruined your plans, and I have nothing to show for it." I sat there for a long time, just looking at him. I realized he was not trying to manipulate me. This was genuine remorse. "I was so angry," I said finally. "I am still angry. But I am also tired of being angry. What you did was not okay. What Mom and Dad did was not okay. But I have spent a year building something without you guys. And honestly, I am proud of what I built. Maybe I would not have fought this hard if everything had been handed to me." Blake's eyes were wet. "You did amazing. I saw your LinkedIn. Working at that company in Detroit, making real money. I am proud of you too." "Thanks," I said. "That means something. I am not ready to just forget everything, but I do not want to carry this hate forever either." Blake nodded. "I get it. I do not expect you to forgive me. I just needed you to know I am sorry." We finished our coffee and left. We did not hug, but we were not hostile either. It was a start. A few weeks later, I called my mom. She answered on the first ring, her voice shaking. "I miss you so much," she said. "We made a terrible mistake." "Yeah, you did," I replied. "We thought we were helping the family, but we hurt you. We prioritized the wrong son. I just needed you to believe in me too," I said. "Not just Blake." In mid-February, I went home for dinner. It was awkward at first. My dad finally looked me in the eye. "Curtis, I want you to know I was wrong. I thought I was being a good father to Blake, but I failed you. I am proud of what you have accomplished. You did it all on your own. That takes real strength." "Thanks, Dad," I said. "That means a lot." I made it clear that things could not go back to how they were. I am willing to rebuild our relationship, but I need you to respect my decisions and never ever do something like that again. They agreed. Over the next few months, I started visiting once or twice a month. Our relationship was not perfect, but it was healing. By spring 2 years after high school graduation, I was 20 years old with a stable career, my own apartment, and financial independence. Blake was attending community college trying to figure out his path. I was supportive from a distance. Our relationship was not what it used to be, but it was something. I learned that family is not about blind loyalty. It is about mutual respect and support. Sometimes the people who love you can still make decisions that hurt you deeply. That does not mean they do not love you, but it also does not mean you have to accept it. I learned that I am stronger than I thought. When everything was taken from me, I did not crumble. I built. The anger I felt became fuel. It pushed me to work harder, learn faster, prove to myself that I could succeed. Success is not about proving others wrong. It is about proving yourself right. I do not need their validation anymore. I have my own. Forgiveness is not about forgetting or saying what happened was okay. It is about releasing the weight so you can move forward. I am not all the way there yet. Maybe I never will be. But I am trying, and that is enough. Looking back, part of me wishes things had gone differently. That I had gotten to go to Michigan right away, that my family had chosen differently. But another part of me knows that the path I walked made me who I am. Tougher, more independent, more grateful for what I earn. Sometimes life takes away what you thought you needed most, and in the process, you discover what you are truly capable of. I am not thankful for what they did, but I am thankful for who I became in spite of it. And maybe that is the real lesson. You cannot control what people take from you, but you can control what you build with what is left. I still have that acceptance letter from the University of Michigan. I framed it and hung it on the wall of my apartment. It is not a reminder of loss anymore. It is a reminder of strength. Every time I look at it, I remember that I did not need their money to succeed. I just needed to believe in myself. So let me ask you this. Have you ever had someone take something important from you? How did you move forward? Drop your answer in the comments below. I would love to hear your story. And if this resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who might need to hear it. Your support means everything. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that even when people let you down, you have the power to rise. Take care of yourself, and remember, your future is yours to build. Nobody can take that away from you.